Hi, this is Steve, and I'm going to be talking a little bit about the 9mm, the 40 Smith & Wesson, the 45 ACP, and the 10mm. I'm also going to bring up a 380 and 22 long rifle. Now mainly this video is about the first four cartridges, the 9, 40, 45, 10. And it's mainly because I see a lot of videos that hear a lot of arguments about which cartridge of these four is better. Well, define better. If I just going to use it for planking, shooting paper targets, shooting steel, 9mm is fairly cheap, cheaper than the other three. Works great if you're just going to go planking. If you're going to go into bear country, you might want something bigger than 9mm and move upwards to the 10mm. So again, what's better? Well, it depends on the situation. Now, if you watch my videos, you know I love 40 caliber. I've been a big 40 caliber fan for a long time. My first carry guns in the 90s were 45, and yeah, they did have 40 at that time. I bought my first 40 caliber in 1999, and I carried 40 caliber almost exclusively up until just a couple, 3 months ago, because I am a big 40 caliber fan. A couple months ago, I started carrying a 9mm. Now, why did I start carrying a 9mm? Well, it isn't because 9mm is a better cartridge. It's a perfectly adequate cartridge for self-defense. Not as powerful as the 40 that I like, but you know, it's a good cartridge. But I started carrying a 9mm because of this gun right here, the Sarzamaz CM9. I bought this a few months ago, ran it through its paces, and just fell in love with it. Now, the reason I actually started carrying that for the bigger part of my life now is up until a few months ago, for the last several years, my carry guns were, on my Monday through Friday gun was my Springfield XDS in 40 caliber. Held 7+1, fairly small, and I did this because I knew I would be going someplace where I couldn't take my firearm, so I had to take it off and lock it up in my car inside one of those secured lock boxes. And so I carry that, usually my Monday through Friday carry gun. My weekend carry gun was usually the CZ P09, also in 40 caliber, 15 round magazine, one in the chamber. But as you can see, it's somewhat bigger, you know. And this didn't fit into my smaller lockbox that I keep under my car. So I carried it on places where I knew I would have to take it off and lock it up. But that's the only reason I switched to the CM9 and 9mm. Not because the 9mm is a better cartridge. No, it's an adequate cartridge. I think the 40 is a little bit more powerful, and I'm good. I like more powerful cartridges because I'm a big guy. But it still will get the job done. As a comparison, I'm gonna use my car. Now, I drive a Hyundai Excel with that little 1.6 liter engine. In its heyday, it only had like 110 horsepower. But I'm gonna compare it to, let's say, a Ferrari. Ooh, Ferrari a 308 GT, you know, the Magnum red one, the nice looking one. Okay. So which car is better? Well, a lot of people say, oh, the Ferrari's better, it's faster. Yeah, but my Hyundai would go and can't exceed any legal speed limit in America. So, okay, it's good enough then, right? Because I don't want tickets, I don't like speeding tickets, haven't had one since the mid-90s. Ferrari, I'd probably get one fairly quick. So, it's adequate enough. Now again, what's better, the Ferrari or the Hyundai? Well, my Hyundai gets 35 miles to the gallon. I'm not sure what a Ferrari gets, but I bet you it's not 35 miles to the gallon. Well, what about capacity? Well, Ferrari has 2 seats. You know, my Hyundai, the little 4-door, I've carried me and 3 of my brothers who are all nearly my size, and I'm 6'3" and 200, well over 200 plus pounds. I've carried all 4 of us from Corpus Christi, Texas, all the way to Key West and back over 12 days. Plus, the trunk was filled with crap. All of our food or gear, you know, clothing, beach towels, snorkel masks, computers, all this other stuff. I don't think a Ferrari would do that. So, I'm going to say overall, for me, in my situation, my Hyundai was a better car than a Ferrari. But see what I mean by what's better? So, what's better? 9mm or 40? 40 is a little bit more powerful, yeah. Few percent, 10%, 20%, I don't know. But it's also more expensive. There's that. Let's go into reloading. I haven't reloaded in years. 9mm uses a tapered case. So you gotta make sure that die is set just right, otherwise you're gonna have feeding problems. 40 is a straight wall cased. Won't have that issue. You can be less precise. Okay, but most people don't reload. I don't reload no more. So again, what's better? Well, capacity. Well, yeah, you get a few extra rounds in most guns with a 9mm than a 40. Oh, but what about the 45? Yes, you get even less rounds, but it's more powerful. It's probably a little bit more powerful than the 40. Okay, well, let's go up to the 10mm, because it's more powerful than a 45, and you get the same capacity with the 40. Yes, you do. And its class is more closer to the 45, maybe a touch more. I'm not really sure. I haven't really compared that lately. But again, what's better? Well, it depends on your situation. Again, if you were going to go into bear country, if I was going to go into bear country, I got a 10mm. It holds 14 rounds, plus 1 in the chamber. Yeah, if I'm going to get molested by a bear, this would be my gun of choice of the ones I own, handguns, to protect me. Over my 9mm, which holds 17 plus 1. So I lose 3 rounds, but it's much more powerful. So, yeah. Of course I'm going to go 10mm. But I don't go to bear country very often. So, okay. Again, what's better? What if I was going into bear country, though, in California, that they have that stupid magazine capacity band? Oh. I'd still go 10mm, but I'd use my Rock Island, which only holds 8. So it'd still be legal there, and I wouldn't go to jail or become a felon because California sucks. But anyway, I segue. That is what I mean by what's better. Now we're gonna switch down to the little 380. Okay, as you can see, I'm gonna go 9mm 380. See the difference? 380 is much smaller. Let me get them right there. Much smaller. Little side note real quick. My brother had a little AMT backup little gun. This is probably late 80s, early 90s. He actually sold it to my mom. And it was a 380. But it was chambered, it said on the side of the gun, the 9mm Kurtz, which means short apparently. So 9mm short. But so now let's get a little bit farther into that. So I'm carrying, my everyday carry is my CM9, and as you can see, it's a little bigger than my XDS, but it holds more than twice the ammo. Okay, but what if I needed a little bit smaller? Well, got my Kel-Tec PF9. This is a 9mm. It's a little smaller. Go this way. You see, not by much, but a touch smaller. But what if I needed to go even smaller? Well, now I got my Ruger LCP, the 380, 9mm Kurtz to ATM. So now if my need was for a very small concealable handgun, well, a 380 is now better. Now, they do make, I believe it's the LCP2, they make it in 22, which if you're going to do for protection, I think a 380 is better than a 22. However, a 22 is better than harsh language. And I do have my Colt Railgun 1911 style 22, but I don't think I'd ever carry this for self-defense other than maybe for snakes. Maybe, and even then I'd rather still have something more powerful. But this concept of better is better at what? Now, I'm not saying 9mm is better than 40 or 45 is better than 10mm. I'm saying they're all good rounds. They all excel a little bit better in different areas. 9mm is a little less expensive. 10mm, better for bear. And you get a whole gambit of things in there. I say if you don't like a lot of recoil, of course, 9mm being the weakest out of 4 is going to have the less recoil in a comparably sized gun. Is that always true? And by comparably sized, the Kel-Tec PF9, the Witness Elite 10mm match. Well, which one do you think is going to kick more? Well, trust me, this one is, because this is a little tiny light gun made of polymer. So it's power, even though it's nowhere near as powerful as this one, you're going to feel the recoil more because this is big and heavy. So that's what I'm trying to say. What's better? What's better? For me, my everyday carry gun became a 9mm because I liked the gun, not because of a cartridge. I feel perfectly adequate carrying a 9mm, a 40, a 45, or a 10mm. They're all great rounds for carry. Now, I'm not going into the revolver rounds, 38 Special, 357 Magnum, 44 Magnum. Well, because I don't have any revolvers. I don't own any right now. I've owned them in the past, a few. Just don't have none now. I'm not sure if I'm ever going to own any in my life. It's one of those things you just don't know. But don't get hooked on one particular caliber thinking it's better than the other. Because, again, it might fit your need better. It might fit your wants better, your budget's better. Maybe somebody really wants the 10mm, but all the guns and the ammo is just too expensive for them, so they have to settle with the cheaper 9mm. You know, nothing wrong with that. I'm fortunate. I have a wide variety of handguns, and I spent a lot of money getting a wide variety of handguns. You know, I'm broke on other parts of my life, but that's my choice, and that's what I do. But yeah, don't get too caught up on little things. You know, who's better? What's better? What gun's better? You know, again, they all have different niches in this life. So some guns might be better because, like, there's another number of videos out for that High Point, which I think is an ugly gun. But apparently, I mean, they work for the most part. And if that's all you can afford is a $200 gun, you know, maybe that's all, you know, you need. Maybe somebody wants to take out a $800 pistol for an everyday carry. Well, not me. I can't afford to replace that if something was to happen. This one cost me over $1,000. So I'm not rich, and my guns usually keep me poor, but that's the way I choose my life to be. So anyway, I hope I impart a little bit of wisdom. I'm going to say knowledge, because everybody I think knows this, that as long as what you got going on, what you need a gun for, is adequate and proper for your job or your money, then don't worry about what other people think or say or say you have to have. It's just the way it is. All right, thanks for watching.